Hello. Today we are doing a lesson on how to use point slope form of a line. So let's get started. We are just going to go over some tips, formulas, important little pieces of information. Sorry about my dog. And then we are going to model that with some examples. Those are part of your notes. Your notes should include examples because it gives you somewhere to refer to, a point of reference, and gives you somewhere to look and compare when you're trying out a problem by yourself. So let's get started. First thing we should write down, of course, is what we did in lessons 1 and 2, because in math, everything that you do builds onto into the next section. So lesson 1, what did we do in lesson 1? In lesson 1, we focus primarily on slope. Okay, let's put lesson 1 in a box, and I'm going to use colon, not a dash, not an equal sign, because a dash will look like a minus sign, and an equal sign will look like it's part of an equation. So you have to use those consciously. M equals, letter we use for slope, and we wrote our formula for slope out. We have y2 minus y, this might look a little funny because it's a little piece of scotch tape there, over x2 minus x1. You should see that okay, right? So first things first, slope. Slope is your rate of change. It's your rise over run. If you want to write that down, that might not be a bad idea either, because it helps you remember exactly what it is. And maybe we want to remember when slope equals 0, you'll have a horizontal line. And when the slope is undefined, you will have a vertical line. All right, so little reminder on the side, lesson 1, now lesson 2. What did we talk about in lesson 2? Lesson 2, a little bit more, we focused on slope intercept form, a little bit in lesson 1 too, but we could kind of put that right in between. Slope intercept form, and that one looked like y equals mx plus b, where your slope is right over there, and your b is your, I would be specific, y-intercept. And we write that as 0 comma a number. Don't forget about that. X and y, just stay x and y in your equation. We also went over standard form. And what does that look like? Well, standard form is ax plus by equals c. Whenever possible, we try to make sure a, b, and c are not fractions. They are nice integers, which are positive, negative, or 0 whole numbers. And we always try to make a positive if we can. It makes it a little bit nicer to work with, look at. So we all have this sort of the same equation on our paper for the same line, because one line could be represented many different ways. Now, what are these things from lesson 2? I mean, lesson 1 was slope. Lesson 2, we did these things, but what are these? These are equations of lines. Now, equations of lines, what about these tricky guys, our horizontal and our vertical lines? So let's do a little note about that. A horizontal line, the equation will be y equals a number. The vertical line, the equation will be x equals a number. So those are things that you also want to write and remember. Young sir, you have to, no. I'm sorry. I'll go through and color coordinate at the end if you wanted to do that as well. But now we are on lesson 3. So we are building on the equations of lines. If you notice, I made this long bracket long enough so I could fit my new one. And my new one, I'm going to write in all capital letters. It is my favorite form of a line. I know most people probably don't have a favorite, but I think this is the most useful form of a line. So what we're going to do is write that down right over there. It says y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Now, if we just think about the name point slope form, in math, things are pretty straightforward. Point slope form means that you have a point, and that point is x sub 1 comma y sub 1. So these are little subscript ones, and these will be filled in with numbers. But this y right here and this x right here, when you write the equation, they stay x and y as they are, okay? We don't plug numbers in yet, unless you were evaluating what is x when y equals this, what is y when x equals this, but otherwise they stay x and y when you write the equation, just to model it, okay? And then of course, m is our slope as always. If you have to write an equation, if the directions don't tell you what form, and you have a point and a slope, just plug in the point right here, plug in the slope right there, and leave it alone. You're done. You're finished, okay? If the directions specifically tell you to write it in point slope form, well, again, you're done. If they tell you to write another form, chances are, and this is why this is my favorite form, okay? We're listening to this. We're going to rewind it and listen to it again. Point slope form just requires you have a point and a slope. And then from here, it is possible to change this into both of those forms. So this is a great starting place if you have a point and a slope, or 2 points, because you can find the slope, and then you'll have 2 points and a slope. You just pick one, either one. If you have a point and a slope, or 2 points, which give you a slope, you will use point slope form and be right on the money, okay? So we are going to basically get going with this. We're going to try some examples and see how this goes. I just jumped in very quickly and color coordinated a little bit. I don't know if that's something you would be interested in doing. And I also realized it was not on the screen for this part. So if you wanted to make sure that you have everything copied, I'm zooming out and fixing that. Just press pause and make sure you get everything down, okay? Sorry about the little cutout over there when I was not looking up. My dog was distracting me. Equations, these are the 3 forms that we deal with for an equation. Slope intercept, which everyone seems to default to, but again, not my favorite. Standard, think it's very standard to learn your ABs and ABCs in kindergarten. It has ABC in it. And point slope form, which is my favorite. M is slope. You do not see your slope right away over here. There's other stuff we could get into, but I'm just trying to get to the main gist of everything today. Equations of horizontal and vertical lines. Do not mix up equations and their slopes. Those are different things. It depends what they're asking you about. And a last piece of advice, something I used to memorize, and I always ask my students to memorize, is just think the phrase, HAVEX, horizontal lines have an equation of y equals a number. Vertical lines have an equation of x equals a number. And then in our most recent lesson before this, we talked about how a horizontal line has a slope of 0 and how a vertical line has a slope that's undefined. Okay, so jot that down and let's get moving to these examples. Here the directions say, write the slope intercept form, that is an equation of a line. Write the slope intercept form of the equation of the line given through the given point with the given slope. Now, this, you're given a point and given a slope, an alarm should go off in your head. That's the alarm. If you could hear the siren outside. Point slope form, point slope form, point slope form. You're going to use point slope form. But what do they want you to do? Slope-intercept form. So we go through a process. And I even put a reminder. Remember too, whenever possible, start with point slope form and then transition to slope-intercept form, showing all the steps. So that's what I'm going to have us do. First thing, we're going to do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. That is, again, point slope form. And then we're going to transition to, I was going to write, well, whatever. I'm labeling it above this time. Slope-intercept form. So I'm just writing this underneath both examples so I don't forget, nice and big. Slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx. What am I writing a parenthesis for? I don't know. Do you know? I started thinking of the other equation. Plus b. How will we do that? How will we get to this? We will, parentheses, I'm going to put distribute m, bring over, you have to use the inverse operation though, bring over y sub 1, combine like terms, and I'm going to put a little extra reminder, might need common denominator, which I'll abbreviate sometimes as com denom. All right, bam, all the advice we need. These are your notes. You're going to look at these when you have to do your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to fill in all of my appropriate numbers. Y minus -4 equals 1/2 times the quantity of x minus -2. Don't love the double minus sign happening over here. I'm going to clean that up a smidge. I'm going to make that +4. And that's going to become +2. So if the directions wanted point slope form, you're done. Got it? Finito. Now we're going to do what this says. Distribute m, step 1. So we got point slope form. Carrying on. Y plus 4. Now we're doing the process. We're showing our work. Distribute. 1/2 times x is 1/2 x. 1/2 times 2 times of 1/2 of 2. What's 1/2 of 2? 1. Bring over the y sub 1, which is a 4 right now. How do we do that? -4 minus 4. No fractions, so no com denom needed today. And that cancels out. And what are we left with? Y equals 1/2 x, positive 1, take away 4. So on a number line, 4 to the left. Where does that bring me? To -3. And what does that mean? We are finished. So all done. Final answer, y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Now I'd like you to do it this way for this assignment. Let me slide that up a bit. Even if you know another way to do it, because this will be very helpful in the future for a lot of different types of assignments and problems. Let's look at the next one. Same process. Y equals, you might be able to watch this in faster speed. Not y equals, y minus y sub 1. Now maybe you want to write that down. If you struggle, maybe you want to write down x sub 1 equals -4. Y sub 1 equals positive 5. M equals -2 over 5. So just plug everything in the right place. Y minus y sub 1, so y minus 5 equals -2 over 5. Parenthesis, x minus -4. Parentheses are very important. I'm going to clean up. I did that again. I'm going to clean up this before I carry on. Y minus 5 is -2 over 5, parenthesis, x plus 4. That again is my point slope form. Making a little note of that for myself. We love this. Maybe you want to put a heart by it. Distribute. Now we do the work for the next part. Distribute. Y minus 5 equals -2 over 5 times x is just that. A negative times a positive is negative. 2 over 5 times 4? Well, I already took care of the negative and the positive. I got the negative. I'm just worried about 2 over 5 times 4. I'm going to do that on the side for anyone that needs that. 2 over 5 times 4. That's the same as 2 over 5 times 4 over 1. You don't need a common denominator to multiply or divide. You just need it for adding and subtracting, okay? 2 times 4, 8. 5 times 1, 5. Don't be scared of fractions. It's all in your head. Really is. So 8 over 5. Now we're going to need common denominator for this one. Add 5 to both sides. Now I wrote 5 down here plus 5, which is really 5 over 1. I cannot add or subtract without a common denominator. 5 over 1, to get a common denominator, my least common denominator of these two fractions is 5, not 1. I know it has the word least in it. Doesn't matter. Smallest thing you could put them both into, turn them both into. So I would multiply this on top and bottom by 5. I'm really multiplying by 1, also known as the multiplicative identity. You're not changing its value. You're just making it look different. So then you're really going to have, again, I'm going to do a little side work for this. Let's do a little line over here. So this is still for number 2 side work, and this was number 2 side work. So I have negative 8 over 5. Instead of it being plus 5 over 1, I'm going to write plus 25 over 5. If you stink with positives and negatives, anytime I have a positive number like this with a negative like this, I think of it turned around. It's the same thing. That's called the commutative property. Don't grab your calculator. When I'm taking away 8 in my head, I take away 10. 25 take away 10 is 15, but then I add 2 back. So 16, 17. So I'm at 17 over 5. All right. So I already took care of that negative plus a number. So I get, not there. Why am I writing this? So here, this is the work I was doing. Eliminated, gone, canceled. Y equals negative 2 over 5x. And then that combined, my work of it is right over here. So it became positive. There's no negative in front. 17 over 5. Is it annoying that your y-intercept is 17/5? Yes, it stinks, but guess what? If you were graphing this, big advice, listening, pause after this to really let it marinate. If you had to graph this, I would just go to this point. Don't try to find that ugly point. What's that? It's a decimal. Ew. No. Go to negative 4,5. It's over in quadrant 2. It's a nice point, right? And then apply your slope from there, down 2 over 5. Bam. You don't need to use that. Why are you being crazy? Just use that. Good to go. All right. So directions asked us to do this, and we did it. We did it over here. So that is the end of those 2 examples. If you need to rewind and rewatch a certain part, if you need to press pause to copy something down, do that now. Don't try an assignment unless you have copied down and gone through the lesson, of course, okay? So press pause if you need to, and then we're going to move on in a second. We have 2 more examples, and we're just going to keep it moving. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and then we're going to transition into y equals mx plus b. That's our goal, all right? That's what we're trying to do here. Got my slope, got my point. Y minus, now maybe we label it up here, x1, y1, m, all right? Don't be too proud to label your stuff, okay? Y minus negative, I'm going to save a little space, plus 1, bam. Negative 2 over 3, parenthesis, x minus negative 3 plus 3, because I'm so smart. Got it. All right. From here, that's my point slope form. If I needed it, if I needed an equation of this line, I'd be finished. If I need to graph this line, I'm going to start there at negative 3, negative 1. Don't worry about the y-intercept. We don't need to start there. It's not a rule. And then apply your slope from whatever point you have. Amazing, right? You can use any point on the line. But let's do the process. First step is to distribute. Negative 2 over 3 times x. That part's easy. It's negative 2 over 3x plus, all right, here. Negative 2 over 3 times 3, which is 3 over 1. You do not need to be a weenie and write negative 6 over 3. When you're multiplying, you can reduce top to bottom. If there's no adding and subtracting, amazing. So instead of plus, it's positive and a negative. So I have minus 2. That's it. That's it, my loves. Next step, minus 1, minus 1. Eliminate that guy. Y equals negative 2 over 3. X, negative 2, negative 1. Same sign, find sum. Keep same sign, minus 3. We're done. Best thing you ever did. Moving on. Here, the slope is 0. Ding, 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 ding. Alarms go off. Slope is 0. Z, 0. The horizontal line. Hey, Vex. Horizontal line. Okay. So what are we going to do from there? Horizontal line, the equation is y equals a number. What is that number? What does y equal? Not 0. Y equals negative 3. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. There we go. If you have to hit pause, think about it, look back at your notes from before, do it, and we're going to move forward. We got 2 more things to talk about, or 1.5 things. Really, we could have another question that just takes it up a smidge, just a notch, and that is you write your slope-intercept form. Again, the goal is to write slope-intercept form. So we want slope-intercept form. You have a slope in that equation by its name. So that means you have m-intercept. B is the y-intercept. So it's the one with y equals mx plus b. That's what we want. And we are given 2 points. 2 points. So that's almost like x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Guess what we got to do? Need to first find slope. You cannot use point slope form without a slope. The ingredients are a point and a slope, hence the name point slope form, right? First step, find slope. 2, do what we did before. But you also have an option. You pick a point because now you have 2. Pick one. That's it. That is it, my loves. And what is slope again? M equals y2 minus y1. Y goes up high. x2 minus x1. And we move on from there. Okay? Let's get started. All right, here we go. We have 2 points. Step 1, find the slope. I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2, y2 minus y1, 4 minus 1, x2 minus x1's 2 minus negative 2, 4 take away 1 is 3, 2 minus negative is 2 plus 2, slope is 3/4. Doing great. Next thing, y minus y1 equals x minus x1. Fill them in. Y minus, pick which ordered pair you want. Maybe you love 2, 4. Fine, you pick that one. You don't have to pick that one. 4 equals, slope was 3 over 4, parentheses, x minus 2. There's our point slope form. Now we do the process. Distribute. Y minus 4 equals 3 over 4, x, positive times a negative is minus 3 over 4 times 2. I already took care of the minus, that's why I didn't write negative 2, which is over 1. I could write 6 over 4, sure, but always reduce first if you can. So that becomes a 1 and that becomes a 2. In PEMDAS, multiply and divide are really the same thing. You just got to be careful. So 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2. So we got, that's not the fraction bar, that's a minus sign. Minus 3 over 2. If you got to press pause, please do it. Add 4 to both sides. I'm going to just do underneath first. It's eliminated there. If I want to do negative 3 over 2 plus 4 over 1, what do I need? Common denom. What's my least common denominator? 2. Multiply this on top and bottom by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. Negative 3 over 2 plus 8 over 2, you just combine the top and leave it over 2. Negative 3, you're in a hole 3 feet. You float up 8 feet. Where are you? 5 feet above 0. So I just changed that to 8 over 2, whatever we want to look at. Y equals, scooch in this way, 3 over 4 x plus 5 over 2. Again, if you needed to graph this, you have 2 points given to you. I would just plot those 2 points, get a ruler, draw a line, stick arrows at the end. Done. Done. If that's all you had to do was graph it, you're finished. But that's how we go from 2 points to the slope, to point slope form, to slope intercept form. We're taking like a train. We start at the front and you make your way to the caboose. And then we're working our way down this equation train. All right, one more. I'm going to go quickly just so you have a second example. And then you will try some on your own. I got that the slope is negative 1/2. I'm going to use the one with the 2 negatives. I like to use the one that has 2 of the same sign so I don't get mixed up. One half times 1 is half of 1. It's 1/2. Negative and a positive makes negative. Subtract 2 from both. I need a common denominator. It's really over a 1. I'm going to multiply on top and bottom by 2. 2 times 2 became 4. 1 times 2 is just 2, so it's really 4 over 2. This is a negative 1 over 2, and I'm taking away 4 over 2. That cancels. What do I have? Y equals negative 1 over 2 x minus 5 over 2, and we're done. Please press pause anywhere you need to. Please rewind and rewatch anything you need to rewatch. And then you're just going to try some examples on your own and look back at your work. Hopefully you copied everything down. Look back at your work and make sure you are modeling it the same way. Don't take shortcuts. Don't try to skip steps. I know how to do this and I'm not taking shortcuts, so you can't either. All right. So if this models it well for you and you feel pretty confident that you could do this assignment and that the instruction is clear enough for you right now, then give the video a thumbs up. And if not, if you need help, SOS. I am terrible at this. Give the video a thumbs down, and that's how I'll inventory. And I will eventually be linking other videos at the end of this video and tons of stuff on the in the description box under the video. So I hope this was helpful. Okay, have a nice day.